Welcome back to the Bad Influence podcast, where we dive deep into the uncomfortable truth and hard lessons that help us grow. Today, we're talking about something that's often overlooked, but it's absolutely essential if you want to level up in life. I'm talking about social fluency. But what do I mean by that? Because this is a term that I found or that I learned about a few years ago. So, social fluency, it's the ability to communicate effectively, to express yourself clearly, and to be comfortable in social situations. You might think, well, I know how to talk because this is what went through my mind when I found this concept. I know how to talk, but fluency is more than just talking. It's about being understood. It's about pacing yourself, and it's about making sure that the message you're delivering is actually landing. Let me tell you something. Learning about social fluency changed my life. And trust me, I wasn't always this fluent. If you look at the first episode, or even this podcast or my previous podcast, the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast, or the Spoonie and Caregiver Live podcast, because they had different names, you will see that before, I didn't know how to talk. Now I'm getting better. I'm getting more fluent. But I had to learn how to fucking express myself in a way that people could understand, especially when I moved to the States, to Salt Lake City, Utah. Because I have struggled. And I have even stuttered. But learning this skill is what allowed me to feel comfortable in my own skin, to be confident in any room, and to stop feeling like I was on the outside looking in. So, if you've ever felt awkward in conversations or unsure if people are truly getting what you're saying, this episode is for you. Because we're going to break down why social fluency is a skill you must learn, how it affects your life in ways you might not even realize, and most importantly, how you can start learning it today. So, if you're ready to take control of how you communicate and start showing up as your best, most confident self, listen very carefully to what I'm about to share with you. Listen to this as many times as you need and write it down if you have to. Because here's the problem. Here's the fucking problem that I have observing. Most of you assume that just because you can talk, you're good at communication. Just like I did years ago. But being able to speak and being fluent in how you express yourself are two very different things. How many times have you had something important to say, but it came out all wrong? Or maybe you've been in a room full of people, but you stay quiet because you weren't confident in how you'd be perceived. Oh, that's the fluency gap. That's what I'm talking about. And that happened to me so many times. Because this is when you know what you want to say, but it doesn't come out the way you intended. Or worse, it comes out in a way that makes you feel misunderstood. And I see a lot of people going through this. I went through this with my wife. This is one of the reasons why we actually went to couples therapy, because I didn't know how to communicate. And if you don't realize how necessary social fluency is, you're going to fail in life. You're going to struggle in life. And one of the problems that I've seen, and this is what happened with me, is that you start to see its consequences until it's too late, until you're not able to backtrack what you said. That has happened to me. And I don't want that to happen to you, because I know how it feels. I know that it makes you feel like a piece of shit. And when this happens, all these misunderstandings, miscommunications happen, you start to feel left out of conversations or not being taken seriously because you don't know how to express the severity of whatever you want to talk about. You don't know how to say the right words. So it holds you back in relationships, in your career, and even in how you view yourself. But here's the good news, it's a skill you can learn just like I did. When my wife got sick, it was a wake up call for me. I realized that my lack of fluency in English wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting her. And it was affecting how I navigated stressful situations. Every time I tried to express my concern about her health, it came out wrong. It came out so wrong that I was like, fuck. I don't know how that came out that way. My accent, my pacing, and my tone made it sound like I was frustrated or yelling when really I was just trying to communicate how I felt. And that's when I knew I needed to get fucking better. I needed to learn fluency, not just for myself, but for the people around me. At first, I didn't know where to start. But then I decided to take it step by step. I started rehearsing in front of the mirror, literally talking to myself to see how I came across. I recorded myself speaking so I could listen back and figure out where I was stumbling, which it was on every single word. And I started reading out loud every single day, books, articles, anything I could get my hands on. I knew that the more I practice, the better I get. But the biggest thing that helped me was slowing the fuck down. Like, oof, I hit the brakes. I slowed down. I started to work on my enunciation. I used to talk so fast that my words will trip over each other. I was so eager to be heard, so desperate to say what was on my mind, that I wasn't paying attention to how it sounded. And that makes you look dumb. And sometimes even stupid. I wasn't thinking about how the other person will receive it. And that's the key. Fluency isn't just about what you say. It's about how the other person understands it. So I learned to slow down, to pace myself, to be more intentional with my words. And let me fucking tell you, it wasn't easy at all. It took me years to get to a place where I felt comfortable, where I wasn't rushing to conversations or stumbling over my words. But the more I practice, the more confident I became. And now I can walk into a room, speak up, ask questions, and not worry about sounding dumb or not being understood. That's the power of learning fluency. It gives you the confidence to be yourself, to communicate clearly, and to engage with others on a deeper level because you start asking clear questions, you start getting clear answers. That's pretty much what happens. So let's get into why social fluency is so important. First, it affects every aspect of your life, whether you're at work, with friends, or in a relationship. The ability to express yourself clearly is vital to building strong connections. If people can't understand you or your message is getting lost, it sits in a place where it will create friction. It won't help the situation at all. Think about it. How many arguments or misunderstandings could be avoided if we were just better at communicating? I know that helped my relationship, that helped my marriage because we were arguing a lot for the dumbest shit. Fluency also impacts how others perceive you. If you're someone who struggles to get their point across, people might start to think you're not confident or that you don't know what you're talking about, even when you do. And that pisses me off. That was pissing me off so bad when that would happen because I know what I'm talking about. I've done the research, I have lived it, and I know that whatever I say, it worked for me and it could work for you. But it will piss me off that people were like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't sound confident. So it was making me fucking mad. But on the flip side, when you learn social fluency, you come across as more competent, more credible, and more engaging. People are more likely to listen to you, to respect what you have to say, and to engage with you on a deeper level. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to give you answers that you're looking for, like deeper answers about themselves. And let's not forget how fluency affects how you feel about yourself. That's going to be a good one. Because when you're fluent in how you fucking communicate, you're no longer worried about how you're perceived. You can show up as your authentic self without second guessing every word. That's where true confidence comes from. Knowing that you can express yourself clearly and be understood no matter the situation. And even if you're misunderstood, you can take charge and be like, okay, where's the miscommunication? And then you can find the right words to explain it to that person. But here's the thing. Fluency isn't just about speaking a language or delivering a message. I want to make that clear. It's about how you think, how you process information, and how you structure your thoughts as well. The clearer you can think, the clearer you can speak. That's why I believe fluency is a skill everyone needs to learn. It's not just about talking. It's about thinking, processing, and engaging with the world around you. You might be thinking, okay, I get it. Fluency is important, but where do I start? The first step is awareness, and it's also the hardest step because you have to start paying attention to how you communicate. Are you rushing through your words? Are people often asking you to repeat yourself or clarify what you're saying? Do you feel like your message isn't landing the way you intended? Once you start noticing these things, you can start working on them. You can start to slow down and do all these things. Next, practice. Just like I did. Practice in front of the mirror. Record yourself speaking and play it back. It might feel awkward at first, but trust me, it fucking works. All you have to do is literally pay attention to whatever you're saying and how you said it. Listen to how you're coming across. Are you clear? Are you pacing yourself? Do you sound rushed or calm? The more you practice, the more fluent you'll become. Another tip is to read out loud. This is a game changer. This helped me so much because when you read out loud, you train your brain to process language in real time. You learn how to pace yourself, how to articulate clearly, and how to make sure your words flow. That's what has helped me so much. And honestly, even if you're a language speaker, an English speaker, like native English speaker, you still need to do this because no offense to anybody, I have heard some people and I have had conversations with people that make me sound smarter than them. And I'm like, wow, if I sound smarter than you and I'm not a native speaker of the language, then you have a problem. Doing what I just mentioned is one of the best ways to improve your fluency, especially if you're learning a new language or just want to get better at expressing yourself. So slow down because you have to. And I can't stress this enough. The reason why this works is because when you slow down, you give yourself time to think, to choose your words carefully, and to make sure your message is clear. You're not just reacting to whatever you want to say or to whatever you feel or to whatever was asked. You're actually thinking how to react, how to respond. You become more responsive. You give good answers because it's not about rushing through the conversation just to get to your point or just to get your point across. It's about making sure that what you're saying is being understood. And when you do that, you'll start to notice a huge difference in how people respond to you. They're going to be more open. They're going to be more talkative to you. They're going to talk to you more. They're going to come to you just to talk sometimes. Now, here's the best part of today's episode. Let's get into some practical steps you can take to start learning social fluency. These are the same steps that I have taken and they have worked for me. They have worked for some of my friends when I gave them these steps. Some of my clients have tried it and it works for them. So first, like I said before, practice. This isn't something new that happens overnight. But the more you practice, the better you'll get. All you have to do is start small. You can practice with a friend, record yourself, or even talk to yourself in the mirror. The more comfortable you get with hearing your own voice and watching how you communicate, the more fluent you'll become. Second, don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If you're in a conversation and you're not sure if your message is landing, ask the other person, does that make sense or am I being clear? This not only helps you improve, but it also shows the other person that you care about how you're communicating and that you want to be understood. They're not like, oh, here we go again, another problem, another issue that I don't even understand. Third, work on your pacing. One of the biggest mistakes people make is talking too fast, especially when you're nervous or excited. Slow down, take a breath, and give yourself time to think before you speak. This doesn't just help with fluency, it also helps you and makes you sound more confident and more in control of the conversation. Another thing that you have to do, and you always have to do this, no matter what process you're going through, as long as it's working for you and it's to change your life for the better, you have to embrace the process. Fluency is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time to learn. So be patient with yourself. You're not going to become a master communicator overnight, but with practice, persistence, and the right mindset, you'll get there. And once you do, the doors will open in your personal and professional life, and you will never believe it. Those doors that will open are going to be so incredible that you're going to be like, damn, I should have tried this before. And here's the thing. Fluency isn't just about sounding good or being able to hold a fucking conversation. It's about building confidence in who you are and how you show up to the world. When you learn social fluency, you're not just improving your communication skills. You're improving your self-assurance, your relationships, and your ability to make an impact. So don't underestimate the power of fluency. It's not just something that comes naturally to a few lucky people. It's a skill that anyone can learn, but with practice. And once you do, you'll start to see how much more engaging, effective, and confident you become in every aspect of your life. It will change your relationship with your wife, with your kids, with your friends, at work, wherever you need to use this skill. It will help you. This is a skill that people need more than ever right now. Literally, more than ever. So that's why I'm talking about it. Because I want you to understand that there are skills in this life that you need to learn in order for you to become the person that you need to become. In order for you to be able to change your life, to change your wife's life, your kids' life, your friends' life, the people around you lives, the lives of people around you. And when you understand that, you're going to see yourself different. You're going to portray yourself different. You're going to start making decisions that will work for you. You're going to look for people that you can talk to about how to become better. That will help you level up. That will help you create what you want to create, not just for them, not just for you, but for your family, and sometimes even for the world. So learn this skill. Start today, tomorrow, whenever you want to start. But as long as you start, you're going to be okay. Because if you don't start, and I've seen this with older people, they get depressed. They get mad. They're bitter because they cannot talk. They forget how to express themselves. They forget how to be fluent. They forget that they may sound rude, so nobody wants to talk to them. And you don't want that in your life when you're 60, 70, 80. You want to be fluent all the way to the end of your life. That way, when you're on your last stretch of life, people can still come to you, ask you questions about life, and you can give them a good answer about how they should live their life. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me today on the Bad Influence Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a little help with their communication skills, because together we can all get better at expressing ourselves, connecting with others, and making our voices heard. So stay patient, stay curious, and keep pushing forward. Until next time, have a great day.